Hello, this is Sanaha. Um, I wanted to make this first video about one of the biggest misconceptions about therapy, that progress should look obvious. It should be immediate, it should be dramatic. So I guess it's quite unhelpful if and when people have these unrealistic expectations, because that also means they'll be disappointed, they'll not get the full benefit of therapy, they will exit therapy much before than they should, um, and they might continue to suffer. So I guess I had all these reasons to kind of decide that, okay, this should be the topic today. All right. Now, in reality, improvement in psychological therapy can look very different for different people. Um, And it's not at all uncommon that people are making improvement without realizing that they are. Um, so I'm just gonna talk about different types of improvement I commonly see in therapy. So the first one is, just around being more self-aware. So with self-awareness comes, I guess, the very foundation that people need to make some behavior changes that then produce the very results they're seeking from therapy, basically. So, you know, increased awareness could just be that you know what your triggers are. You know what your patterns are, what happens first, what follows, what does the whole thing result in, etc. You may become quite aware of unhealthy relationships, whether they are from your side or from other people, um, towards you. You may become very much aware of, um, your emotional reactions, burnout signs, etc. So I'll give you one example, actually, to give you an idea what can this self-awareness look like in your everyday living. Um, you you might get to the stage where you go, you know what? I now realize I shut down during conflict, and that does not go well with my partner. So that's actually progress, that hasn't resolved your issue yet, or it's not to a stage where you're choosing to do something else in a conflict. You're still doing what you were doing before, but you're aware of it now. Okay. All right. So in this journey of, I guess, improvement through therapy, like I said before, usually what follows self awareness is behavior change. So, behavior change could look like, setting boundaries, or setting boundaries with a bit of ease, you know, setting boundaries guilt free. So, uh, it could also be that you're attending, school, work, social events, whatever you need to attend to, a bit more consistently. So that means you are now working on some of the avoidance behaviors you may have had. You can follow routines better. You are having healthier communication now. Um, so it could also mean that you are actively working on stopping some of some harmful coping behaviors that you may have. So I guess let's take it a little bit as a sequence that that people can experience in therapy. So we started off with self-awareness, then we said, okay, some action starts and some behavior change starts to happen. And then the behavior change actually often creates long-term outcomes. And that's exactly what we want. It's not an ideal goal for most people, I can say that confidently, to keep coming back to therapy for the same issues or keep coming back to therapy um, for these foundational skills that they are struggling with. Okay, so emotional regulation improvement is another one, and it is huge. So let's say if you started therapy for anxiety, maybe you still feel anxious, but you recover faster. Maybe you don't spiral as deeply as you did before, or your reactions are less intense than before. Um, so I would consider this one as major progress. Um, Now, some other things that happen while all this that I have mentioned so far is happening is, for some people, improved decision making because they feel more confident, they have a little bit more clarity, they're not too worried about people pleasing, whatever that is. So, okay, now it's a whole topic in itself, which I'm not going to go into right now. But the fact is, when our relationship improves with ourselves, our other relationships improve as well. It's a it's a beautiful thing to think about. When I think about it, it's extremely powerful, and yeah, I think it's a really amazing goal to have as well. Okay, so chances are the hope is that with all this happening, that your functional improvement can also be seen now. You know, you you're following your routines much better. You're parenting more effectively. You're managing life in a way that is productive, that is helpful. Okay, now with all this happening, uh, you see a significant improvement in your overall life, and you know, like I have mentioned before, so things like things running more smoothly, your personal life, your relationships, um, I guess less things you're angry about on yourself that, oh, become so reactive when someone said this to me, or oh, why couldn't I attend my class, or why did I have that outburst when my child was asking for that. When a lot of that reduces, I guess it's just given that overall your mental health will improve, and the problem you entered therapy for is most likely going to improve. But let's not forget, it's a process, it's a journey, having realistic expectations from this journey is just going to make everything you're trying to achieve more possible. So I'm just hoping that this makes sense and it is helpful. Okay, we'll wrap up for now then. Take care. Bye.